Before we start, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we're recording on. For me, that's the Wangaburra clan.
And for me, it's the Wurundjeri peoples.
And baby, you can turn me on. Hey, baby gorgeouses. Hey, girl.
Welcome back. It's us in your ear holes once again, loving life. It's two girls and it's one pod. Booyah.
Oh, she just booyah'd ya. Oh, here we go.
I can do that for the longest time. And Angie, you can testify to that because I send you voice messages sometimes just doing this.
You're like the little kid off The Grudge.
I've never seen The Grudge.
Well, you don't have to see it to not know the.
I don't know. If you don't see something, how would I know that?
Because it was like around forever and people like, I never saw Scream, but I knew that like ghost face.
Oh, because people wore it.
Yeah, but everybody used to go, and then they go, Grudge. And you go, oh, yeah. I haven't even seen it. And I'd be like, yeah, The Grudge, cool. And the hair, and I was like,
I remember the look. But I've never heard it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it just thought it was me doing this again. I never watch scary movies because I live alone and I hate watching them alone. That's what we need to do more in the future is watch scary movies together.
We should when I come to Melbourne finally.
We'll watch The Grudge.
Well, you know what? We'll watch the shit out of The Grudge and we will hate it, but we will watch it.
Hey, how about we just do whatever the hell we want?
I'm very happy about that. I'm happy.
It's a date. I'll see you in Melbourne. I'll see you by the sushi platter. Talking of sushi platters, segue, you and I have been spending the last couple of days watching simultaneously the channel that is popped up on Foxtel 24 hours, 7 days a week, channel 128. It's the Gogglebox channel.
Oh, hasn't it just been the gift that keeps on giving?
Oh
days. It's still on.
You and I have said a lot of times since we've left Gogglebox that we should sit down and watch our episodes again, and we've just never done it. We've never gotten around to going back and having a look at old episodes. And this being on, you just turn it on and it's just there. And you can't go and do – I don't know about you. I can't go and do anything else because I'm just riveted by myself. I'm just sitting there going, oh, God, we were funny. God, we were sad. Oh, God, we were good. God, we were bad. All of it.
So many feels, like rewatching it, especially from like 6 years ago. It's just like some of the things that we say, I'm like, oh, my God.
Yes,
like,
did we say
I could
that?
not. You could not say it now. Mostly because we know what it's like to be on the other side.
That's the really interesting thing is we realised while watching it that the things that we say that we would never say now, and not because, you know, we're more woke. It's because we know what it's like to be judged on TV now. So we just think, oh, it's so easy to sit on your lounge, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just say what the rest of the country is thinking. We were saying what everyone was thinking and people are still thinking it. The difference is we don't say it now because we think, oh, that's a real person and that could really hurt their feelings. No one else really has that.
No.
Unless it's happened to them. So
That's
I actually
so true.
really understand people that do say things now because I'm like, you don't know that you're affecting someone. Like you really don't.
Nah, you have no idea until you're on the other side. And it makes it, we always used to, when we were on the show and it was starting to get big and we won the Logies and all that, we were always like, well, it's so unfair because like we want to be able to go to the Logies and we want to be able to go to all these events and meet all these people. But the big guys would always say, well, we don't want that because it would completely alter what you say in the comfort of your home, you know.
And if you met other celebrities in Australia, you wouldn't.
Yeah, you'd feel to yourself and you'd be like, no, they're my friend. I can't say that now. I would feel like that now. And knowing how hard it is and the time on set and that they're real humans with real families and real problems, I'd be like, oh yeah, but at home I betcha, you know, poor Julia's got this, or poor Grant's got, like, you would sit back and you'd think, oh, I'd be like, oh, the Bachelorette, she's got a lot going on. Like you'd really, and people would be like, I don't want.
That's a really hard thing to film. You don't understand.
Yeah, people don't want to hear that. They'd be like, shut up. We can't relate with you on that level. Exactly. They just want to watch us judge the shit out of TV like they do. So I get that now.
Yeah, we always kind of understood it, but we get it now. We get it.
Fully get it.
Like you can't make the Goggleboxers celebrities because they just, you know, they won't say what you need them to say. But we put out a little question box on our Instagram, which was just lovely because we had so many responses from people. So, you know, we just said, ask us anything. If we were to do an episode on Gogglebox, what do you want to hear from us? So we've had a few questions. We have a lot of the same questions, answers. Sorry, questions. Blah, blah, blah.
It's the remix.
It is.
It's the mother remix. Twins.
Don't say that.
Didn't you say it too?
I know, and I stopped halfway.
What's wrong with saying mother? Oh, it's pretty gross, hey?
Oh, no. Do you not know the backstory? I've not told you recently. The backstory never. Can I just pop this in? Never, ever use the word mother ever again. Everyone that's listening. It comes from, oh, this is awful. This is going to absolutely break you.
Oh, God.
The actual origin of that term comes from slavery days when the slave owners wanted certain slaves who were really well built and they didn't care. And most of the time they were young men and their mothers were very fertile. So they would put bags over each of their heads and make them, and that's why they would call the young men mother. So that's why it's extremely important that people know this. This is a brilliant documentary called Hidden Colours, and that's where these Black historians are really talking about things that white America just does not talk about and will not put in their history books, and we are big on that. So that is one of them. When I found that out, I swore to myself I will never ever use that word again, and every time I hear someone use it, I will tell them the origin of it in the vain hope that we will just stop using this awful term, which is, oh my God, it is beyond hideous.
I had no idea about that.
I thought I told you. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that, but I'm really glad that you know now. And I've got to tell you in this forum as well, because we've just told a shitload of people.
Now other people can learn.
Yeah. Anyway, let's start with this one. Were you having as much fun as it looked like? More fun than it looked like. Like sometimes, I mean, we would drink most of the time. It's very rare that you get to drink doing what you do.
At work.
At work. We had a crew, which is another question. So this can tie in, like, were there crew? One of the questions I think is, how many crew were there? So we can answer these two together. How many crew did we have?
There was like 6. There was cameraman, soundy, runner,
director,
transcriber, director.
5.
Is that all? Am I missing anything? Yeah.
They were always so much fun. Like
oh my God, they were like our family.
Yeah, and we could hear them laughing at things we would do and say.
That would egg us on. That'd get our juices flowing.
It was, and we would have fun with them between takes. We'd have fun with them before while they were setting up. They were really beautiful with all of our dogs, and we'd have fun with them afterwards. Like, they were just a great bunch of people, and they often were the same ones. They change irregularly through the seasons, but we'd always get our favourites, and our EP always knew who our favourites were and made sure that we would get them, which was fantastic. So we did have a lot of fun doing it. A lot of fun.
And you could tell when we wouldn't have fun, because we're the sort of people, especially me, where I don't even know I do it. You can just tell on my face straight away. Anything I'm thinking, you can tell on my face. So you would see us actually like this.
Yeah. That's another question that we got. Did they ever put anything in the show that you didn't want to be there? Very rarely. Very rarely.
Rarely.
It was actually once.
It was
Once
only
only,
once
and we won't rehash it.
No, we've already rehashed it before, and I've already apologized so many times, and I was 27 and I learned from my mistakes, but it was shit. It was awful. Like, I lost sleep over it.
Yeah,
I was beside myself.
Yeah.
I cried right after it. I was going to South Africa to go to this camp, and I didn't want to go because I was like beside myself.
Yeah.
And then I apologized to the person, and at first he didn't want to accept my apology. And look, what I said was awful, but like,
we're not going to get into
things.
We're not going to get into it.
But in conclusion, it was pretty full. It was pretty sad one for me.
So another question was, what did you do when you hated a show / could you choose the shows? We couldn't ever choose the shows. The shows were always
We wish.
A week's worth of TV that we had to watch over, in the beginning, 3 days, and then it went down to 2 days. So they were good 4 to 5 hour sittings where we would sit and watch. Another question we got was, do you have to watch the entire show, or did you only ever get snippets? And that changed, because if it was pre-recorded and production had that show they wanted us to watch, they would show us a condensed version of it, because it would be mostly what they wanted us to hit, like talk about, react to.
Yeah.
But if it was live, like the AFL Grand Final or the cricket, it was live and long and laborious. And no, we never got to choose, and we never got to say, can we not watch? There was only, I think, 2 times, Ange, did we walk out and said, we can't watch this. This is just shit. There was a magician show. I remember that because it was on this weekend while I was watching it. Everyone walked out on it.
Yeah, I think they pretty much said that we could.
Yes.
But other times you could sometimes, because we filmed so much, you could sometimes, and you knew that you weren't always going to be on, you could tune out. Like sometimes I'd sit on my phone.
Did.
Very rarely. You'd get in trouble sometimes. You'd be like, get off your phone.
Get off your phone.
Or they'd be like, come on, girls, we know you don't like it, but you have to kind of give us something. And we'd be like, no, we don't, we hate it. At the beginning, we were such people pleasers though. We would just be like, yeah, sure. And by the end, I mean, we did it for 4 years. It was a long time.
8 seasons.
By the end, it was just like, if we didn't want to watch something, or just like everybody else, we had our own personal shit going on. So you can't always mask that, especially when you're in the comfort of your home. We would just be like, nah. Or we'd have little fights with each other like sisters, but then we'd take it out on the shows we're watching.
Yes. And no one ever knew that.
No one would know. She'd say something I disagree with, and then she'd stir me up, and then I'd get the shits, or vice versa, and then I'd be like, this show's shit.
Yeah.
And I probably didn't even think it. I was just so cross.
Yeah, no, and that's right. And there would be, I mean, sometimes we would watch an entire show and it would be great, or like I remember watching, they had us watch the Gordon Ramsay Hotels from Hell or something, and we were all like so into it that we wanted to keep watching, and we all got cracked the shits like, let us keep watching this. They're like, nah, next week's episode we don't have it, so when you're not watching it, keep go, like, kind of thing. There was times when we watched shows on Gogglebox that we would never have watched, and it made us get into the shows, like behind the scenes. And there was sometimes we would get emails from production. They would say to us, please don't watch this show this week because we're airing it and we want to see your true reactions.
Yeah.
So that was really important, that we didn't know the results of The Bachelors and the Married at First Sights and things like that, that we didn't know what was coming up, Survivor evictees and stuff like that. So we had to adhere to that, and that was a really important thing, simply because even though it was on that week, we might be watching it the day after it had aired. They'd say, please don't watch it live. So there was that. And, the question, did you ever hate a show? Doctor Who.
And anything sportsing.
Yes, sportsing. I mean, there was some really shit shows that we had to watch, but we just drank through them.
We drank the pain away.
And played with our dogs and just went, isn't this a shit show? Isn't this a shit show? Which, funnily enough, you'd watch the episode of Gogglebox the next week, and every household had said, well, isn't this a shit show? So we certainly weren't alone. No. Okay, another question. Did you ever get to meet any of the other cast members?
We did. It took
met
a
all of
while
them.
though.
Yeah, took 3 seasons.
We weren't allowed ever to meet. They really didn't want us to meet for a good while, and then they would start doing wrap parties and things for us, and we got to meet. Well, we were in Sydney, so we met the Sydney families at the time, and then we eventually were able to meet some of the Melbourne families. I haven't met any of the new.
No.
But yeah, we did. We ended up meeting pretty much all of the old, like the originals.
Yeah. Yeah, and we just love them. They are really like family. They've gone through, it's like any cast of anything. You've gone through something similar to each other that you really bond over.
Sorry about that.
What was that?
It was a crystal.
It was a crystal.
It's just smashed on the floor.
Yeah, there's these people, they get what we went through, that we get what they're still going through. So yeah, there's something unsaid. Like you don't want to be around. Oh, maybe you do want to be around us when we all get together, because it certainly would be like putting an ear up to your neighbour's wall and listening to all the goss, because all we do is talk Gogglebox stuff. We all just talk Gogglebox.
We love
stuff.
the goss. I still see them as my original family. Like even now, they're so supportive. Any show I've been on or anything I've done. Or any achievements they've done, if they've got married, we got invited to Isabel's wedding. Yvie went, I couldn't go because of surgery. And like things like that, you become so close because nobody else shares that experience with you. So you form bonds.
I go out dog walking with the Daltons and their dog Ace all the time.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
Yeah. So
actually, Anastasia just called us both, and we have to call her back. I forgot to call her back.
We should call her and as a group call, shouldn't we? Let's call her. Oh my God, we should
three-way.
She'd love that.
She would lose her mind and we'll get all the goss.
Okay, another question was, what's the filming process? So the filming process is they would bump in, they call it bump in, and when they would bring a lot of people think that, and that was another question, is there a camera in your living room the entire time? No, they would come in every day with a truck. And they would have a million leads,
full on.
a lot of monitors, 2 cameras, 2 lights, microphones, tables to set up, and they'd set up in another room.
It would take them about 2 hours.
Yeah, it would. It'd take 2 hours to set up, about an hour and a half to set down, because they do it really, really quickly and get the hell out of there.
Out of there.
And then about 4 or 5 hours to film in between. So it was a very long process, but they would be in another room.
They'd use my room as the control room, and which was like the living room, and then my room was right next to it, so it wasn't far. They could walk in if they wanted to, but it was good because it's not like it was a cameraman in your face. It was like 2 little robotic cameras kind of set up on the side, but he controlled them from the room. Like
it was a remote control cameras, and we had also a little speaker underneath our TV, which our producer director could talk to us from the other room through a microphone, which would frighten the life out of us every time she did or he did.
That's right. It's like Big Brother.
Yeah, it's just like, and we'd be like, where's that coming from?
Well, like, don't be so loud with it.
Another question that I just saw was, could you hear the TV while you were filming? Which is a really interesting question if you're into production of TV, because, when you film TV shows or movies, when people are on dance floors, there's no music playing. Everyone is dancing to nothing. So, that has to be added in. With Gogglebox, we had to have the TV quite low so it wouldn't pick up on our microphones.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And then they could put it in later.
Yeah, that's right. Because I could never hear, and that would be something I'd always say, I can't hear. And they're like, well, Angie, we can't turn it up anymore. Can't hear.
And I do believe that Emmy from the Silburys had a dreadful time hearing, so they actually got her an earpiece so she could hear the TV, because she was just lost, poor thing.
Yeah, you would be like,
I wouldn't have minded that.
Yeah, maybe they could do it for a bit. I needed it. I'm constantly like, can't hear.
I watch TV with the subtitles on, so I don't miss anything.
So loud. I wonder why. Another thing people wouldn't know is that we outfit change like 6 times in one night.
Yeah.
To stay up with Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and then last week you watched that, so you need to put on Tuesday night. Like it was a full thing. So we don't just sit there and watch TV. We are getting changed, we're getting remiked, but it's still all your own. It's not like they're producing you.
No.
It's still, all of it was what we wanted, but it was still a full production. It's television. People, there's nothing easy about television ever. It's
No, it's never
always
simple.
a production.
It is.
There's
It's produced.
always a magical team behind it.
That's
it's not just like,
right.
here's the camera, here's your shows, go for gold. Like, it's not like that at all. You had to have a lot of patience.
Exactly. We had 7 days worth of TV shows to watch in 2 sittings. So
yeah.
it makes sense. If you think about it, we had to keep changing outfits even though we were shooting it in the same day. There's another question here that says, was it loosely scripted? And which is a great question because reality TV is loosely
Usually
scripted.
is.
Your producers are constantly asking you to say things a certain in your own words. The
Yeah.
one thing that is really important to me is that people understand Gogglebox is not a reality TV. It's observational documentary. It's factional. So factual, not factional. I don't
Yeah, I was
even
like,
think
that's
that's
a
a
new
word.
word.
Yeah, it's
It's like, did you
factual.
just make that up?
So it's really important that everyone knows that we couldn't be scripted because it would have taken away absolutely every honest truth.
It's like observational documentary, darlings.
Yeah, that it really was 5 hours each time of leaving the cameras on us, and the editing team would start editing at 11 p.m. that night.
Amazing.
They
It's
would go
hardcore.
all night long. Like, it was such an amazing turnaround, and they were so good at what they did. So yeah, loosely scripted. We were writing the script.
We could add script writers to our damn CVs.
Oh, we were given scripts to these poor transcribers who would just be like, Yvie just farted and Angie just went, gross. I just saw a baby's asshole open up. And
God, could you imagine some of
shit
the stuff
that
we
would
said that never
say.
made
Yeah.
air that they would have to type?
Yes.
I hope they
Yes.
burnt that. I hope it's blown up somewhere.
It's burnt
that
in their
nobody
retinas,
could
that's for
ever see or access because we would
We'd
be
be
shocked.
ruined. Yeah. I mean, that goes back to us saying that, we were just everyday ordinary people saying really shitty things that everyday ordinary people say. And, we've had to really learn some hard lessons since then. One question we've had a lot, as you can imagine, is why did we leave?
Gosh.
We didn't. We're still there. You just can't see.
We're just really boring now.
Yeah, they just don't show us anymore.
They never show. We still get dressed every week. We still comment. We just don't have the camera on us anymore.
Yeah.
No, we actually left. We were there, like we said, for 4 years, 8 seasons. I was living between Sydney and London. I was only in my 20s, so I was like, I'd have to come back to London for film, and I was like having to pick up and restart my life. And when I'd come back, I would sometimes live out of my car. I would house sit. I would dog sit. I got really sick from that. I was very stressed because this is when I stopped living with Yvie by the end because I was traveling so much and she had to get another housemate in. And
there's no
it was a
room.
year where I was living out of my car off and on and getting these random house sits or staying on the couch and flying back to Queensland because my nanny, who was like my everything, got sick. She wasn't dying. She just had really bad mental health and a bad hip. So I was like, well, on my days off, she can't be alone because her mental health was so bad. Her depression came out. She couldn't be by herself. I was like, I'll live with her in Queensland and I'll fly back. That just got too hard. And we did ask Gogglebox and we told them the situation. Is there any way you can help me out? I don't have a lot of money so I can fly home and be with Nan. And there was just no extra budget, which is, it is what it is. And if you give us extra budget, you'd have to give all the other families. And
that's what we were told, that they couldn't have any special preferences for us. It just wasn't that kind of a show.
And then Nanny ended up passing away, and then that was kind of our sign then. Hey, we had a big chat. We were like, I was like, girl, I want to go home. I've been away from Queensland since I was 21. I moved to Sydney, and then what was I when she died? 28. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go home and look after my mum. She has no support really, and just hang out for a while. So I don't think I want to come back.
And I had a new flatmate at the time. I actually had 2 flatmates, and
yes,
they
that's
weren't
right.
that keen on the house being used as location. And that time they didn't have anything in Queensland being filmed, so it wasn't an option to film up there. And it kind of just came to a natural end for us. It was financial reasons, location reasons, change of life reasons, that it wasn't viable for us to continue. But saying that, had all of those things been different, we'd still be doing it.
Yeah, we loved it. We would have probably liked to have had a break just because I would have liked to travel more. Nothing against the show ever. I know that there was like little talks about it in articles where we left quite bitter. Not at all. It was fully personal. And I've only ever said amazing things about the show.
Well, we loved our time on the show.
We loved it, and we loved the people.
Another question that we got is, would you ever go back? And it's really interesting because Adam and Simon have gone back, and that's really fascinating for us to watch that. Like, they left the show, went on to I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, something we did as well, and they've gone back onto the show. And it has posed a question to us both. We've said to each other, would you do that again? Would we, we obviously couldn't because we live in separate states still, but if we ever lived together,
but if we did,
if we lived in the same city again and they
I would do it,
asked us, it would be something it would be such a lovely trip back and a novelty of, this was so much fun, and what a trip to do it again. So yeah, absolutely, never write it off. That's still to this day one of my favorite shows. It was one of my favorite shows then, and it still is one of my favorite shows to watch.
Well, she's speechless, and that never happens. Yeah, I reckon. Why not? I always used to say never rule it out. Life's for living. I love it. But it would be, I think it'd be a bit hard because we have gone on and done so much, and we do know a lot of the people quite personally that we do watch. But I think it could even bring something different, It's been the same for so long. Something for them to ponder. We'd never say never, but one of the things in it would be I would still want to be able to do my work now, which is in the industry. So I don't know if they would allow that. That's the only thing.
I've seen a lot of comments on the new episode, which is a celebrity Gogglebox, and people saying, why don't you have Angie and Yvie on that when they are celebrities now? And I actually think that would work better than going back to the original, because it would be a different take, because we wouldn't probably speak about people on TV the way we used to, and that Goggleboxes still do. And I think that's what we're going to see with celebrity episode. We're going to see them not talking about personal things. But we haven't been offered anything, so don't.
No, oh my God, this is us just having a conversation. We haven't been
breaking
offered
news or anything.
Shit. They probably don't even want us back, to be honest.
Yeah,
but we're just saying if we did, because it was a question and we were asked it, so we're just answering it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because I'm opposite to you. I think I'd want to go back with the Goggleboxes because to me, I don't see myself as like the people. I'm still Angie on the couch that has just had heaps of adventures. So I would still want to be with everybody. And I would feel weird if we were on the celebrity one because I just would feel weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just would.
Because you were on the pleb one.
Yeah. Ben asked me the other day and I was like, no, I wouldn't do the celebrity. I'd just do a season of us just back, and I'd want all the originals to come back. Like I want the Dells back. I want the Jacksons back. I want Wayne and Tom back. I want us back.
I'd love the kids to be back.
Oh my God, the kid family.
It would be good to see those guys again.
Yeah.
They were great.
God. Let's put that. We're putting that out to the universe. Let's have a Gogglebox reunion of the originals. Soz, anybody that came after 2018.
Yeah.
You can just have one season break. Just one.
Yeah, just one.
We still love you, but just one season break.
Yeah, but it would be good to go back to the OGs.
And we have had so many messages of people watching it this last week of the 24/7 Gogglebox replay. So get amongst it, and thank you for all your messages. And I've loved having the trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
I forgot how hideous I looked in seasons 1 and 2 with my little chipmunk
didn't.
mouth and my little swollen celiac
didn't.
face.
Didn't.
And I forgot how much dross I spoke, and I forgot how funny we were. We are so naughty. And I forgot how naughty we were.
Yeah. Yeah,
We still are. We're probably the same, and I just don't think we are.
Yeah, I think we're exactly the same still. Yeah.
We're still naughty, but we like to I feel like I've come so far since then. Like back then I probably wouldn't be able to be called out on as much. I'd get way more offended. Whereas now I'm like, oh my God, did I? Whereas back then I'd be like, no, I didn't.
I think
white wine.
Yeah, I think we're the same. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast and why the podcast does well is because people wanted us to do things together again. And if we don't get given a TV show, we get given a podcast. That will do. Thank you very much. We're doing it and we're loving it and we're living it.
Thanks for coming.
Live
it, learn it, love it.
So yeah.
Oh, I loved doing a Gogglebox episode. It makes me miss it. Like, I'm so glad it's still on. I can go binge it. Although we're not on the end anymore. I only like it when we're on it. Kidding. I still love it. Just kidding.
No, it isn't the same not being able to watch yourself and go, ooh. You know what? I just one thing that I've noticed watching our seasons. I want to know where I've put some of my clothes. It's like, oh, I love that top.
Yeah, you always had such nice stuff. I'd wear like stockings with skirts, and I would wear whatever I found on my floor-drobe, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'd be like, and I'd smell it, and I'd be like, hasn't got dog hair on, and I'm putting this on for today.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I thought you all looked amazing. I can't believe the different looks we had. Like
we had lots of looks.
I went really short hair at times. I went really blonde. I went really dark. I was like brown. I was pale. I was fat. I was thin. I was it was all over the place. I unlike you, have gotten to a place where I absolutely find myself fascinating. And no matter what I looked like, I mean, definitely had moments of, but really checked myself and went, that was who you were, and there is absolutely nothing not to be proud of about that.
I know.
You're a great person inside and out, and that was the way you looked right then. So own it, and I do, and I think, wow, how amazing that our bodies and our faces and that our hair can do all these changes, and we're still the same person inside, and we learn and we grow, and that's the way I hope you are looking at it, that there was so much going on in our lives,
so much,
all of our lives,
so much happened to us.
We got to have things documented, and not many people have things documented. There was one more thing that really touched my heart. It wasn't about us, but we were all watching Who Do You Think You Are on the SBS, and Peter Garrett was having his thing done. And afterwards, Emmy said to Isabel, please tell Luca all the stories of my side of the family. And she said, I will. And she said, promise me that you will tell him everything, all of the stories. And this was probably 4 years ago this was shot. The Silburys have now written a book. The three women, Emmy, Kerry and Isabel, have all written about their lives. And Emmy has now got her own version for her great-grandchild, who she had asked her grandchild to make sure he knew these stories. Well, he can read them now in a book.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
Who gets to do that? Who would have known when they had that conversation?
Yeah.
That fast forward 4 years, and they've written their own book. Like, just the show's incredible what it's done for so many of us.
It actually is when you think of it like that, and the memories you have and the opportunities it's given us. And yeah, I'm super grateful for it.
Me too.
I'm so glad it came on this week. I feel like
we needed it.
Everything has been quite wild at the moment. To have that little trip down memory lane has been so beautiful. And I'm so excited for the celebrity episode.
Yeah, can't wait. On that note, that's us for another week. Thank you for tuning in. We love y'all.
It is. We do love you. Go watch some GB.
Yeah, go watch some Gogglebox if it's still on. And thank you all for taking the time out of your day to send us questions that you wanted us to answer. Hopefully we did. Hopefully gave you a nice little look behind the red curtain.
Oh, the red couch. No, she didn't. Love y'all. See you next week. Have the day you deserve.
Yeah, have that day.